from the get-go, we basically said, here, you guys tell us how to take control. Now, when I say you guys, I'm talking about us and you, Gary. I mean, we've communicated to anybody that was in any position in this thing. You tell us how you want to take control. You tell us how we can move this forward. So, big part of our frustration is, as you're communicating also, things aren't moving forward, and we can't figure out why. I mean, it's
nobody has a bigger frustration about this than I do. Let me tell you.
Want to bet?
Well, I don't know.
Kevin, I just wondered, did you think it was a good strategy just not to say anything to us for that whole time? I mean, don't you think you're a smart guy? You would think, you know, I want to get everybody involved to say this is the way to do it.
I'm talking to your attorneys. I mean, if somebody's represented by an attorney, I'm talking to the attorneys.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what you want from me.
Well, I guess I'm a little confused. You work for Summit. Terry, you know, I looked for Terry for communication or whatever, but you won't communicate, like your presentation, you won't give your presentation to Terry. And so I'm not sure why is that if you work for Summit, why that communication wouldn't come up. We've had to, you know, we finally going, what is going on? And pretty soon he goes, well, I think they sent something to somebody. I'll see if I can get that and whatever. So we've just been in the dark this whole time. And Ewan, I asked him, when are you guys going to have something in December? And he goes, first week in January we'll have a plan. That is really the last communication about when Obsidian's going to have something to me. And he says, we will have something fairly quickly here. So, and all this, you know, everything you described, we just don't know anything about it. We don't know who's plugging up the process or whatever. All we know is we want to get moving. We hate this.
I hate it more than you do.
Right, but
because
well, the fact is that the holdups is doing the very opposite of building credibility and trust between us and the creditors. And yet, all along, that's all we wanted to do is say, you know what? Yeah, we messed up here. Our business plan didn't work as we had intended. Now we got to make it right, and we want to make it right. And in the intervening 45 days or 60 days now, it's that trust is, you know, obviously the reaction to Susan's letter is one of, geez, what are these guys doing? All we want to do is figure out the quickest way to make this stuff available and start getting it liquidated. You know? And so that's our frustration. Is frustration with us and Shane, frustration with you guys. It's just like, you know, and I will say, you know, to Terry's benefit, Terry has communicated what he knows. Because at least he is, you know, he's communicated with us. I totally understand, as frustrating as it is, that if we were represented by legal counsel, you're communicating with legal counsel. But man, the communication ends up back in this room or with four partners is slim and running.
Well, I understand, but you have to understand, from our perspective, we didn't perceive that we needed. If we perceived that we needed to come and meet with you, we would have requested permission for people to come meet with you. But we didn't. I mean, we didn't perceive that. We thought we'd go forward when we were told to stop. We would go forward and then we were told to stop. So every time it was like, okay, we're back in hold mode, then we're in go mode, then we're in hold mode. So that is exactly what we were perceiving. Okay, the whole time that this thing occurred. In my view, you know, whatever happened doesn't make any difference. It's not really about, at this point, it shouldn't be about whose fault it is. It should be about how we actually move forward. But whatever happened, we're 2 months, almost. We're 1 day from 2 months into this process, and we still have damages stacking up, and we still don't have control of funds. And that just can't exist. Because not just from your perspective, and you guys have a completely reasonable, rational perspective, but from the creditor's perspective, it can't exist. right? It doesn't, it's not like, if they thought that there was $100 million, you could say, well, maybe they think, oh, there's $100 million there, so we don't really care, so we'll go waste all the money. They don't think there's $100 million there. They don't know if they're gonna get paid or not. So, from their perspective, their interest and your interest are actually completely identical.
I think the only disconnect I've got from this at all, Kevin, I mean, I talked to you before any of these other people. I mean, Bill Smith referred me over to you and whatnot, and then I presented you to Sussman, and Sussman had picked out Terry. I didn't know Terry from Adam, didn't know you from Adam. You were both recommended by outside people to us. And when Sussman met with you over there, and I think Terry was, or maybe you weren't, I may be putting people in a meeting that weren't there, but Susan called me afterwards and said, yeah, I think this is a good idea. I think these guys have a skill set that is going to be helpful in your situation. And I said, well, what's Terry's reaction? And this is Susan, who may be putting words in your mouth. This is hearsay, so it would not be admissible. What Susan says to me is, well, Terry thinks it's all right too, and he works for, they're going to work for Summit, so if Terry doesn't like him, he'll fire him. That's what she says. And the Obsidian engagement on this is that you're being retained by Summit. And so if I have any frustration, it's the legal chain of command, I don't think was followed and makes any sense here. It seems to me, in hindsight, I wouldn't expect you to be calling me, and I think that you guys as principals, if you're expecting him to call you, I think you're laboring under a false assumption, because my impression is that you work for SAI, and Terry, we don't run it anymore. Terry runs SAI, and then if anybody's telling you to stop, go meet, whatever, that Terry's your boss. And when I go to Terry, and, you know, just because I'm here all the time working, and say, hey, what's going on? And Terry's, I don't know. They went and met with the creditors committee. I start to get paranoid. You know, it's real easy in the absence of information to start spinning a really high-quality John Grisham-like conspiracy in your head. It's like, okay, somebody got a big retainer. I haven't heard from them. The person they work for hasn't heard from them. They're talking to the people that want my scalp on a wall. And now I see a motion coming that they're trying to fire the only person that I see on a regular basis who's trying to work on this. And pretty quick, I got a pretty good story running in my head. Now, it may be wrong. I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. I have no problem with that, and I have no animosity. But if you look at that communication pattern, I hope you can see how it's real easy for me to start to get paranoid about what's going on.
Look, lack of communication always creates paranoia. It always does. It doesn't make it in this situation or any situation. Lack of communication creates that issue. Especially, you guys are under stress, and so it always does that. I agree with that. And you're correct. We thought that as we do things, that we're communicating and that Terry's communicating to you what we're doing. If Terry thought we weren't communicating with him, Terry should have picked up the phone and said, Kevin, I need to have this, this, and this from you.
Well, I think that's a major, and I brought this up to Terry a couple times, and I'm going to bring it up real pointedly right now. I don't want anybody to labor under an assumption that I think Sussman's doing a good job. I think Sussman's driving this case, and what pisses me off about it is that Sussman is the lawyer, and the client is SAI, and Terry runs SAI. And if Sussman is telling you to do something and Terry doesn't know about it, the last time I checked, a lawyer is supposed to check with their effing principal before they take action on their behalf. And Sussman signing on to a friggin' motion to effectively fire the president of the client just boggles my mind, boggles my attorney's mind too. And Bob Vandenboss as well as David Work are scratching their head. How the hell did we get here? So that just kind of added fuel to the paranoia fire that, what the hell's going on? It's like there's this dead carcass and we've got all these professionals circling around it. They've all got retainers, and the only person that I see every day, and again, so I communicate with Terry. I see what he's doing. I hear his frustration. I keep pushing on this reverse issue. We need to get these dang things assigned. We need to get this done. And Sussman doesn't seem to want to do a damn thing.